Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 535, coming at you from PARockShow.com, MegaRockRadio.net, 107.1 FM, St. Louis, Missouri, RooterooRadio.com from the west coast of the United States. Then we can head up north to Mississauga, Toronto, Canada, with AltRockRadio.ca, and into the United Kingdom in Birmingham, United Kingdom with xrpradio.co.uk. And then right here in Leechburg, Pennsylvania, where I sit tonight, BillDescene.com. My name is Bill. With me tonight is Melina. What's up, Melina?
Hey, Bill.
So I thought about dyeing my beard pink for you tonight. And then I decided not to. It might cover up the gray that I've since grown since we had that conversation. What made me think about it was I saw your dad's pink was missing recently, and I was like, maybe I should surprise her and do the pink. And then I can't do it. So I do want to get one question out of the way. I saw that Chip and the Charge Ups are having CD release this weekend. What can you tell me about that?
So we released our album back in April. And of course, due to all this COVID nonsense, we weren't able to have a show to celebrate our new music that we were putting out. We just kept rescheduling it because it kept getting canceled. So hopefully it looks like it's going to actually happen this time. We've got our show at Jurgles. The tickets are completely free. We wanted to just make the show free since we've put our fans through enough confusion, and we just want our fans to come out, have a good time, and hopefully feel a little bit normal again.
So you mentioned COVID, and normally when I talk to band members about COVID, I ask how it's affected their band, and you kind of covered it there. But you also have it affecting more of your life if being a freshman in college. You don't really have anything to compare it to, but how different do you think it is?
It is so strange. It's just it's been really weird, really difficult to just adjust to this new lifestyle, and especially when you're going into something new, not knowing anybody, and it's hard to make friends on Zoom classes. But luckily, the college I'm going to Duquesne University for Music Technology. We have been using HyFlex, which means we have some classes in person, and I'm just really, really grateful for that.
You don't have to answer this, but are you on campus or are you staying at home?
Yeah, I'm commuting. I'm currently on campus right now,
though. Because my next question I would have followed up with, how is that staying on campus going? But are they doing that? Do they have anybody staying on campus? Do you know? They do.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't remember how much of conversation we had in the past. I mean, we talked in the field and we talked on here one time, but I'm actually a teacher, so it interests me on what's going on a little higher than where the level I'm at. Because I know what I'm doing 5 days a week. I'm in the classroom with kindergarten through 8th graders 5 days a week. And we did do the Zoom thing. Now we're in person again. And I think the in-person is so much better.
Definitely.
But anyway, let's talk about Bruises to Prove It. First of all, I'm assuming that your mother took the album cover photo.
Yes.
That I love that album cover.
Thank you so much.
For those of you, I wish I had a copy to show them right now, but it's Melina laying in a boxing ring with gloves on, kind of sprawled out like she got knocked out. So that brings up the question: how did you come up with the title of the album?
Well, actually, when I came up with the title of the album, I wasn't even thinking about it being a title for an album. I'm very competitive, and so I was playing an arcade game, and I was like, it was like one of those throwing games. I kept like banging my arms off the side. I was like, yeah, I just got the jackpot. And my mom said, well, you've got the bruises to prove it. And it just clicked. It just clicked because I feel like all the songs on my album are just kind of written about like the things that I've been through, at least in my teenage life. And it's kind of like my bruises to prove it, kind of my way to show like I made it through all the struggles of being a teenager.
That's probably a good way to describe that. Looking back on my life, I wouldn't want to be a teenager again, especially right now. I also don't want to be the age I am, somewhere in the middle. But so what's the writing process like? Like, how do you come up with the lyrics? I mean, you said it's based partially on your life, but I mean, are there any I don't know where I'm going with this. How about I'll just be quiet and you can tell me about writing the album.
All right. So I started writing this album before I even knew that it was going to be an album. I wrote Flashbacks. That was the first real song I ever wrote. I wrote it when I was 15, I believe, and I'm 18 now, so you can see kind of how long of a journey this has been. But when I was 16, I was in junior year of high school, and that's kind of the year where your teachers say, like, what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, I'm going to be a musician. That's not the right answer. They don't like when you say that. And so I was just kind of like thinking, I was like, if I want to be a musician, I have to make it happen. I can't just, wait around for someone to say, oh, do you want to come write some music or whatever? So I have Pro Tools on my laptop. I've got a little mini home studio. And so I decided that I was going to sit down every Monday night for like 2 years and just work on writing songs, work on preparing to put out an album. And it was a lot of commitment that I put into it, just because it's something that I wanted to do my entire life. And I knew that in order to do that, I would just have to go all the way in and just put all my time and effort into that. And so I ended up writing about 22 songs by the time it got down to getting ready to go into the studio. And so it took me a couple months to choose which 6 I was gonna put on the album, but I ended up narrowing it down to those 6, and then I went into the studio to record. That did get delayed by COVID, but the original plan that I had made 2 years ago was for me to put out my album on July 31st of 2020, and I ended up doing that because I was ahead of schedule and prepared when COVID backed everything up.
Not used to hearing that statement.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that it was coming, but I had exceeded my plans. I said I was going to write 20 songs by March, and I had about 22 by January. So I was just ahead of time, and it ended up working out perfectly.
Now, I know you play bass, and I've seen you playing guitar. Are there any other instruments that you play?
Yeah, I play viola. I did that in high school for a while, and I've been starting to learn piano for several years now. But yeah, I can play a little bit of piano.
My son surprised us. He sat down in front of a piano and started playing songs. He's over there giggling. He plays a little bit of guitar, but it's been a while since he's picked it up. He plays the trumpet. He taught himself to play the fife. He plays the harmonica. I can't hear what he's saying. I have headphones on. He's over there trying to interject something. So I think, and my daughters play the clarinet and the flute. So we have like our own band here once they decide they want to do that, which brings me to my next question. See how I did that? So, and I think we talked about this a little bit when we did the interview about Black and Gold Christmas. But how did you end up as the bass player in Chip and the Charge Ups?
Well, of course, it was not my dad's original plan to have his teenage daughter be in the band with him. I remember when he was starting this band and he was looking for musicians, and I would always kind of be like, well, you know, I play bass. Like, if you ever need a bassist, here I am. So he auditioned some bassists, and he said that just none of them really fit what he was looking for. And so he would be like, yeah, Melina, like, the bassist just canceled on us like last minute. Can you just come sit in with us so that we can, you know, have a bassist? And I would go, and he'd be like, wait a second, like, she's actually good at bass. And so eventually over time, I just started playing with them every week. And he said, you know what, you're in the band.
Some other things that I noticed influence wise, which I'm assuming came from you, is the pink hair thing. How did you convince the rest of the band to dye parts of their hair pink? Because I know you tried with me, and I was like, nope.
I don't know. It was just my idea at first because, you know, I just wanted to make myself look different, not even thinking about the band. I just wanted to dye my hair pink for myself. And so when it came to the band, a lot of our fans were like, you know, kind of liking that. And then so my dad decided to dye his beard, and Jeff would always like spray his hair a different color for our shows, like before I even had pink hair. So he ended up just, you know, going with pink too. So it just kind of became a thing, even without me like having to pressure them into it. Although I am the executive vice president of visual branding for the band.
So okay, so that brings me to the next question. The shoes. they seem to always match everybody's. Who is that your idea as well?
Yes.
And a tie and
when we were starting the band, my dad had some pretty not great ideas for how we should dress, and like he wanted to have like burnt ties or something like that. And so I was like, no, I got an idea. We're all gonna have matching ties, matching shoes, short sleeve black button up shirts. I don't really know how I came up with it, but that's just kind of the vibe that I was getting from the band. And
come on, it's true. Truthfully, it was because you didn't want to wear a burnt tie.
They looked really, really stupid.
So he had examples of them.
Yeah, my dad, he got like sparklers and just like put like holes, like burn holes in the ties. The yellow ones kind of looked like cheese. Just
I think you may have vetoed the right thing. So tell me, I mean, I know enough about your family to carry on this conversation, but like, I know your mom is a photographer and phenomenal. Your dad has been on many, 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 many different bands that have a fairly big following in the tri-state area. How do you think those two influenced you to get where you are today?
My parents are both obviously very creative people, so they've just supported me in all of my creative endeavors. Like when I said that I wanted to go to music school, for example, I know some parents might think like, oh, like, you know, you might want to get a real job, because I know it's what a lot of my teachers and guidance counselors said. They're like, you should get a real job. But my parents have just always been supportive. I have been a musician since I was a kid. I kind of excelled in music in elementary school, and that got me into some pretty big places with children's choirs and whatnot. So I think they can just see my passion and my creativity and be able to support me and not want me to change who I am just because it might not be the most high paying job or the most easy job.
And I also know that being in a band and writing solo music isn't your only foray into music. My daughters and my wife saw you in a musical. I can't remember what part you played, but you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was in the musical at my school. It was Frozen. I did not have a part, but I did have just a couple like singing solo line things. Acting's not my thing, but the singing and dancing that I can pull off. So yeah, I just anything that has to do with music, I am involved 100%. I was in the musical. I played in the pit for some musicals in the past in my school. I've been in so many choirs. I've been in orchestras and just anything musically that I can be involved in, I try to be involved in.
Sorry, that was one of my daughters coming to get a hug. They were very excited when I said, "Hey, I know someone that's in that." Is that something you think you'd want to pursue more, like the singing part of musicals?
Oh, possibly. I just kind of tried it out just for the experience. I'm not an actor by any means, but it definitely being like in the ensemble and just getting the singing parts was a lot of fun. And if I could have that opportunity again, I would definitely go for it.
My daughters played the guards in Aladdin Jr. last year, and at first they were upset because they didn't get a part, but then they got to chase Aladdin and his crew around the whole musical, and they had singing parts, and they got to carry swords, and now they're worried they're not going to get to do it again this year. Aww. And yeah, they're 10, so and they go to a Catholic school, so I just keep telling them pray. It'll work out. Now they had a funny incident happen while they were on stage. They were running around chasing Aladdin, and Bria tripped over a piece of the set, and Emmeline tripped over her. But everyone thought it was on purpose, and like they were really upset, and people were coming up to them afterwards going, "That was the greatest part of the thing," and they're going, "But." So my question now is, have you ever had something embarrassing like that happen on stage, whether in a musical or while you were playing?
I was only really in the musical Frozen, and nothing personally embarrassing happened to me. I mean, a couple times, obviously, this happens to everybody, but when you're, singing a song, you forget some lyrics, but nothing as cool as tripping and falling.
You can't hold the mic out to the crowd at a musical.
Yeah.
How about on stage when you're playing with Chip and the Charge Ups, or as you're doing your solo stuff?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. I wish I had some kind of cool story for you, but no.
How about on the beach when you were recording the video for The Tide is High?
Oh, I don't think anything embarrassing happened, but there's some crazy stories with that. We had permission from the beach to be able to do that, and a lot of people were not happy about that. That we were, playing loud rock music on their beach. So that was.
The follow-up question is did you go to Sarah's for ice cream when you were done?
I'm a vegan, so I don't eat
ice cream. Did anybody that was there go to Sarah's?
I don't think so.
Man, they don't know what they were missing. I give you a pass, but the rest of them, they get a failing grade. That's Erie is my daughter's favorite place to go, so we usually go there for their birthday. They're twins, and we always have to stop at Sarah's. So let's move on to the song we're gonna play tonight. Something more. What can you tell me about that? You can talk about the lyrics. You can talk about recording it. Whatever you want to tell me about that song.
All right, so this song, for anybody who's listened to my album, this one's kind of a different song. I got really into like experimental sounding things. When I wrote this song, I had just gotten a MIDI keyboard, so this was like I was learning how to mess around with MIDI. And so this song is just kind of about figuring out what you want out of life and just kind of deciding what you want to do in life to feel fulfilled. I know when I was trying to make the decision of what to do for college, it was a really tough decision, and it's just like high school was not for me. I was like, I want something more out of life, and even though there's all this COVID stuff, I definitely feel like I am getting that something more now. But yeah, this song is just kind of about going through life wondering what you can get out of it.
I think I hope this was you. I think I saw a post the other day about how much you were enjoying learning. Was that you?
Yeah.
That's awesome to see. There's the teacher in me coming out for a moment. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to kind of do a Melina 2-for-1. We're going to listen to something more off of her album Bruises to Prove It. And then we are going to also listen to The Tide is High off of the Chip and the Charge Ups album, which is finally getting their release party this weekend. I can't remember the name of the album.
Lightning in Our Veins.
Thank you. I do have some of the music. Okay, so we're going to do that. For those of you that are tuned in and listening to us live, you are not going to get to hear the music right now because Facebook likes to mute us. And starting tomorrow, they will actually start deleting accounts of people who are playing music. So we're not going to go there. So we're going to pretend like we played it. If you'd like to hear it, you can go to buildascene.com starting on Friday. It'll be up at 6 a.m. And all of our different streaming affiliates will be playing it throughout the week. And a lot of that music is currently on our radio station at buildascene.com as well. So you can go and make requests of Melina or Chip and the Charge Ups or any other local band. And if there's a local band you want to hear that we don't have, tell us how to get a hold of them and we'll make that happen too. So we're going to come back in right now. So that was The Tide is High by Chip and the Charge Ups. And right before that, you heard Something More by Melina, who's hanging out with us tonight. And if you are just tuning in, you missed a lot of pertinent information that you need to find out about. So go to buildascene.com, go to shows, pick the Pennsylvania Rock Show, look for episode number 535 and press play so you can hear what you missed. Hey, Melina, now I'm going to get into my oddball questions. I played it pretty easy on you in the first half. So if you could go back in time and follow around any one band or musician for a year to learn from them, who would you want to follow around?
Oh, man.
See, I told you I played it easy.
Wow. That's a question that requires a lot of thought. The first thing that comes to my mind is the Beatles because they're just, probably one of the most successful bands in history. And I would just love to see their how they built up from just being nobodies playing in pubs to being the biggest band in the entire world at that time.
So along the same lines, now you're sitting on a bench. You have exactly 1 hour. You're on a timer. You can talk to one musician, living or dead, and only ask them one question. Who would you talk to, and what question would you ask? She's like, can we go back to the other questions?
Yeah, this is hard to come up with on the spot.
I promise I'll make the next one a little easier.
Well, one of my favorite artists currently is Youngblood. And I would definitely love to sit and talk with him. Trying to think what kind of question, just one question, I would want to ask him. I would ask. This is like probably cheating, but I would ask, what can I do to end up like you someday?
See, there you cover a wide basis so you can get a lot of information in from that one question. I like it. Yeah, this one's gonna be a little easier.
All right.
Maybe. So I get trapped in YouTube holes, black holes all the time, where I start watching something and I'll end up be sitting there until I go to bed. Sounds terrible, but I get home at like 5:30. So, and inevitably, I always end up watching Foo Fighter videos. No matter what I start with, I end up on the Foo Fighters. And my favorite Foo Fighter videos are the ones where they end up bringing fans up on stage. So my question is, if you were at a concert and you were being pulled up on stage, who would be your Dave Grohl? In other words, who's pulling you up on the stage? What band are you at? Like, what would be your ultimate, I want to play with them?
I want to say probably Green Day or Blink-182, just because of how much energy they have. And I, obviously from the Chip and the Charge Ups, you can tell that I just love that like upbeat pop punk music. So I think Green Day or Blink-182 would just be really awesome.
Cool. See, that one was a little easier. Maybe. All right, so you are about to go out on a headlining tour, whether it's you as a solo artist or you as Chip and the Charge Ups. I'll let you decide. And you have to decide what local bands from the Pittsburgh area you're going to take with you to open. Who would you invite to go with you?
Gosh, there's just so many good Pittsburgh bands. A Common Crown is one of my favorite Pittsburgh bands. Love them. They, the singer Jen, she sang on Black and Gold Christmas with us. Shadow Event, they're also really good.
Christina. See, now I'm going to have to ask you Christina's question. You're going to have to be mad at her, not at me. Go ahead.
And then probably Erica June in the Tunes.
I know her as well. She actually eventually will be coming to my school to talk to my students about what she does. She does brain research. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Yeah, she works at Carnegie Mellon, I think. And she was excited, and then COVID hit. And I was like, okay, so this is Christina's question. And like I said, you have to blame her. Her question is, if they were going to make a cartoon that involved, and again, it'd be you as a solo artist or Chip and the Charge Ups, what cartoon series would you be in, and what character would they turn into you?
Oh my gosh. I don't really watch cartoons too much. Geez. When I was a kid, I watched Phineas and Ferb. That was kind of my generation's.
I loved Phineas and Ferb when my kids were growing up. I miss it.
Yeah, so I'd probably have to say that because that's just, what I grew up with.
Okay. Why can't I think of the sister's name? They made her look so bad all the time. So you don't want to be her. What was her name?
Candace.
That's it. Mom. Let's see. If you were going into management of bands and you were going to create a band from the local scene, so you can pick whoever you want from any band, who would you put in your band and what genre would you have them play?
From the local scene?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I feel like this question's just one's the hardest, at least so far. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I know that a lot of the local bands that I love just because of the female power in the vocals. So I'm trying to think. Spinning Jenny, they're an old girls band, so I'll take any of them. I don't know. Just got to get the girl power in there, because I would love to see a lot more of that in the Pittsburgh music scene in the future. Um, Erica from Erica June and the Tunes, I love her so much. Um, I love her positive messages. Her songs are just so like upbeat and fun. Whew. How many more do I need?
Well, that's 2. How many do you want in your band? I mean, you could do a duo, right?
Yeah. I'd take Matt Ferrante because he's just
A phenomenal drummer and person.
Yeah, he's crazy in the music scene. He's just setting up shows all the time, playing in his band. I don't know how he does it. So
here's a quick story. When I first started the Pennsylvania Rock Show back in 2004, I had very limited music, and he handed me a bag. It was all local musicians and said, "Here, play this."
Wow.
So, and I said, "Don't I need to get permission from them?" He's like, "Just tell them I gave it to you." I was like, "Okay." Yeah, I've known Matt for a long time. I've known Steve even longer. Steve used to teach karate with my next door neighbor. So I probably met him when I was like 7 or 8.
Wow.
I didn't know he was in bands then, but I knew him then. And then clearly everyone that they've been in bands with, I've interacted with. But yeah, Matt's definitely a good choice. And I give him a hard time all the time. I'm like, so what band are you in now? Because he'll play with anyone, and drumming just seems to make him happy. All right, sorry, tangent. I said, now you have a drummer and 2 singers.
No, I'll take the guitar player from Spinning Jenny.
Okay, there you go.
So I got drummer, guitar player, singer, bassist. This is just too hard, man. I feel like I should have had like a week to study for this. I don't like having to choose bassist because if I could choose a bassist, it would be me. Is that bad? Is that selfish? Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just having such a hard time with this. What if I take the bassist from Spinning Jenny and I put my dad on guitar?
See, now you sound like a general manager of a sports team.
Yeah.
Just so you know, your dad is probably either watching this or going to watch it. And he just found out that he made the band because you needed a bassist.
Yeah. No, I put him in the band so I can be above him, you know.
So you can be his boss.
Yeah.
Wow. How about 2 more questions?
All right, sounds good.
If you're out on tour and I'm tagging along, what would the soundtrack in between shows be? So who would we be listening to?
Well, right now I have been listening to Machine Gun Kelly's new album. That's definitely something that it's just, it's music that inspires you to want to make music, and I love that. I love all the new music that I've been hearing lately. Youngblood's been putting out new music too.
I'm sorry. Did you probably can't see it.
Oh.
Your dad is listening, and he said, "Yay, I'm in the band."
Please don't be mad at me for saying I want to be your boss. That's funny.
Okay, who else?
Yeah, there's a lot of new music that I've been listening to that really like hypes me up to want to play more music. Like I said, Green Day and Blink-182. I just love the pop punk genre, and that always just really like hypes me up to perform and write new music.
So I had a conversation today with the 8th graders, and one of them told me I listened to dad rock. And I'm not sure how to take that, because it sounds like it's making me old, but the bands she listed were like Queen and Kiss and Aerosmith. It's all classic rock. And I was like, I don't know if she's insulting me or if she's giving me a compliment. But she was upset because I didn't know who Jason Derulo was.
Oh. No, stick to Queen and Kiss and all that.
And then she made the comment that she doesn't like Freddie Mercury's voice.
She's wrong.
She said, I know it's impressive that he can get that high, but I don't like it with what they play. And I was like, okay.
It's okay. So, some people were just not meant to appreciate music the same way.
Now, she did mention some bands that I do listen to, so there was some common ground, but yeah, dad rock. I was like, are you kidding me? So then I said, well, I am a dad. But hey, last question. I promise this should be the easiest one of the whole night.
All right.
Can you tell us where the listeners can find you and your bands online and any upcoming shows?
All right. So if you want to find out about upcoming shows for either me or my band, you can follow my Facebook page, Music by Melina, or the band's page, Chip and the Charge Ups. Pretty much all our stuff is on Facebook. And since this is being live streamed on Facebook, right after this, you guys can all go find that right away. For all the music, we have it on any streaming or download platform. It's just Melina, and then there's Chip and the Charge Ups. And so anywhere at all, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, my music's even on TikTok. So just anywhere, you just search Melina, Maleena.
And if you look down here in the banner, for those of you that are watching the video, that is so hard to do. It's backwards. You can see her official website, Music by Melina. Wixsite.com/official. Sorry. Try doing it. Good. Try and point at it. See?
That's hard, yeah.
All right. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with me for a little bit, letting listeners get to know you. And seriously, make sure you do go check out Melina. And so Music by Melina on Facebook, and Chip and the Charge Ups as well. For those of you that aren't familiar with Chip and the Charge Ups, you've probably heard the old 2-9er on DVE, and that is them. I actually just played that the other day. I was live DJing on my radio station, which I never do, and I was like, I'm playing the old 2-9er. And I did. Nobody knew that I was doing it live because I wasn't talking, but I was selecting all the playlist. So if you were listening and the old 2-9er played, I was probably making those choices.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So once again, you heard Something More by Melina and The Tide is High by Chip and the Charge Ups in the middle of the show. And we're going to play a few more tracks of the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer. And then we will let you guys go off into the sunset. Make sure you check us out each and every Friday for the new shows. I'm going to give you a rundown of who we have scheduled. It's a long rundown, so bear with me for a moment. Next week, we have 4 for All. That's October 9th. Brady Novotny on the 16th. Gary Burke III on the 23rd. Jeff Benton on the 30th. On November 6th, we have Gonto and Friends. The and Friends part is a mystery for you guys. I know who it is. 3 Vultures out of Ohio, but their drummer was born in Pennsylvania. Half Wheel on November 20th, Brad Abbott on the 27th, Royal Honey on December 4th, Joel Miller, author of Memoir of a Roadie, which is an awesome book you can buy on Amazon, on December 11th. I read 485 pages of that book in less than a day. On December 18th, I have Robert Wagner. So Christmas Day is open, but we pre-record. So if you want to be on the Christmas Day episode, you can send me an email, bill@buildascene.com. Then we have Parabellum, a new veteran-based band. Will be here on January 1st. After the Fall, for those of you who are not familiar, we were talking about Matt and Steve earlier from A Common Crown. They are also in After the Fall. That is January 8th. And then January 15th, we have Corners of Sanctuary out of the Philadelphia area. Those last two bands, After the Fall and Corners of Sanctuary, are label mates on RFL Records. So if you're interested in checking out any of those bands, or you haven't heard them and would like to hear them, check us out on those dates. Once again, thank you for coming on, Melina.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And we're going to go, and you are going to get to hear some of the best unsigned rock and metal Pennsylvania has to offer.